Welcome in, one and all, if you're still awake after watching today's wonderful exhibition of racing. We had 3 miles of Joe's name occur. That was the biggest incident. Maybe he was trying to discover what a word was that Kevin Harvick used. And our favorite driver got wrecked by the same guy. So outside of that, I guess we're going to break down this race. Welcome in, everybody. I am your host with my fabulous co-hosts, Travis Butt and Joe Spillman. Travis, how are you doing on this beautiful Sunday evening?
We're doing okay. Hanging in there, watching myself glitch on the screen a little bit, but trying to be as cool as you guys and not have to use a laptop anymore to do these streams. So I've had this mic for a little bit, so you might as well just put it to use.
Well, you're the coolest cat that we know. Joe, how are you doing?
Excellent. I mean, if I was any better,
You would have punched Christopher Bell.
yeah, I would have punched Christopher Bell right in the face. What an idiot!
It's not very often that we all can agree that one driver should have been black flagged. And we're not the type of people that
Bunch
cry
of damn
that.
kerfuffle.
Yeah. So want to welcome everybody in. And normally we start our post-race shows asking if you enjoyed it. And Joe, I will start with you on this very, very difficult question today.
I think I just glitched out as soon as you asked, and that's like par for the course of what this race was. I was just going to say, Travis, how about that iRacing Thursday?
I got wrecked at the end. I think that might have been more entertaining than that race, and that was virtual.
Yeah.
Zach said you looked kerfuffled, but I think honestly, Joe thought you were putting on like a stint, or like you were doing like this thing like that when I asked you about the race, and you're just like,
yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh, okay.
It's my Starlink. I mean, it's normally great, but I guess the sky's too clear today. I don't know.
Yeah, full moon.
Yeah.
Get on your shit, Elon. You big
what
dope.
the hell, man. You land rockets.
So I'm going to ask you if you want to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy today's race?
I enjoyed the start of the race in the first turn, and then every subsequent restart after the stage cautions. Outside of that, no.
Fair enough. Travis?
I think it's too long of a course. I think it's almost 3 miles of, tight racing that everything gets spread out. I'm not a fan of the track, man. It's not made for Cup, and it's not made for NASCAR cars, if we're just going to be honest with you. Watkins Glen, Sonoma, some of those places I think are made for some Cup cars, but COTA's is not made for that. I mean, it's just got spread out. It felt like an F1 race, if we're going to be honest with you. And I don't watch F1 races. I don't watch IndyCar races. And that's what it felt like. It felt like IndyCar, F1 races that get spread out and just people are gone. And I don't know. I watched 90% of it on my phone.
Don't put that evil on IndyCar.
I know. But, I watched 90% of it from my my phone. And it's just.
Today's race you did?
Yeah, I did. I had to. Coming home, and then I had to move some furniture for a buddy. We sold our couch to somebody, so we had to move that couch out of the house. And then he was nice enough that turned out he knew that as much as I watch NASCAR on Sundays, he had to race on. When I walked in.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's a good friend. Storm's a good dude.
Even better friend I could test if you'd help move a couch. If Ryan would call me and be like, "Hey, Joe, can you help me move my couch?" And I'd be like, my back's been sore, man.
Hey, sorry. And the wife bought pizza for all of us while we were moving the couch, so it was all good.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's way better than having.
I will say this though, Travis. I mean, I understand it's a long course. I almost 3.5 miles, I think. But why were we able to watch a truck race that was just phenomenal? You know,
And
why were we?
that's the reason to me, Joe. I to answer your question, if I enjoyed it, it's because these cars are too good for road courses and it's boring as hell. The
Yeah, that's a
reason
good
why
point.
trucks aren't, or why they're entertaining, is because they're not made to be raced on road courses. It's chaos, and NASCAR keeps taking the chaos out of it. They move the restart zone, so there's less chaos. They make these cars better for road courses, so there's less chaos. Then you put a truck that has no business being on a road course, and you're like, man, this is entertaining us, all get out because it's chaos. The Xfinity Series is kind of in the middle with that car when it's kind of like the last gen, but it's also new enough, you know. But then we watch today's race, and these cars are just way too good for what we've seen. The road course is what used to be better, is because we never had any idea. I mean, think about all the guys just randomly driving off the course back on the last gen car. We did not see that one time today.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we literally saw that the very first turn when Jesus himself in the Truck Series drove off, balded his tires, and broke a sway bar.
Right.
The very
Well,
first turn.
and before we even got started today, we have a group chat, and Travis asked, "What's the over under on drive-through penalties for cutting the course or getting off the course?" And he said 13, and I said
Yeah, you
just
guys are
under.
in the dozens.
Yeah, and I said just under that, probably 11 or 12. And we thought that because of what we saw in the Xfinity and the Truck series, where guys were just losing it and not having it under control, and that shows you how much better the cars are. Because I mean, outside of a couple drivers, the drivers aren't that much better. They are better, but you're not talking 18 penalties down to 3 penalties better. Moving into the next gen car, 4 penalties or whatever it was. So I think you're absolutely right, Ryan, when you say
I only remember one penalty. I know you said 4, and I believe that's absolutely 100%. I literally only remember Chase Elliott, and they protested for 2 laps that he didn't. Oh, he got loose. Well, your shitty driving doesn't mean you get to cut a corner,
Right.
So, yeah, I'm just to the point, and we can move forward. The race was boring. There you go. Not fun. After what we saw last week, as fun as that was, the chaos that was, this was the most anticlimactic thing that I could have ever watched. And, we're like, oh, let's remove stage cautions because there's going to be more into the race, and nothing. I mean, just people decided to pit when they wanted to. You know what? Christopher Bell pitted 15 laps later than everybody else and still fought his way up. Honest to God, if Ty Gibbs didn't hold him back, he probably would have had a chance to drag race, but Ty Gibbs is kind of a prick sometimes. And, I'm to the point, and Travis, if you want to, maybe you feel differently, I'm just ready to go back to Sonoma, Watkins Glen and say, you know what? We did this road course journey. It's not fun anymore. And let's move away from it.
No, I talked about this too. I'm ready for it, man. And I've never been a big component on road courses anyways. I just never did. But, with the Gen 6, I thought, okay, there's some good racing there. Road courses were pretty good from 2019, 2020, 2021, 2018. I'd say, good races. You saw some racing. We think about all the times that everyone said, do you think about good Watkins Glen races?
We
put Watkins Glen in the playoffs. Let's put Watkins Glen. They had good races. They're exciting. There's a reason for that. There's reasons for that. But, some of these courses are just not made for cup cars. And, think about Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen the last couple of years, I don't think that's been a very boring race still. Honestly.
My thumbnail disagrees with you, Travis, because I went through and my thumbnail last year was Byron wins a snoozer.
No, not mine.
You may have thought completely different, but
I didn't think it was. And then I don't know. I think you hit it perfectly when you say NASCAR's gone through the road course cycle. NASCAR went through the cycle. Okay, let's add more short tracks. Let's add more road course races because our package and everything was really good. And everyone wanted to take 1.5 miles away because of the 550 package and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We got this next gen car. They went through putting 7 road courses in, more short tracks, this and that. And the car is just not made for that. It's just too durable. It's got too much brake. It's got, too much shifting and things like that. Done.
Yeah.
So
Not
let's
made
go
for it
back
as
to
an entertainment standpoint.
Let's go back to 2018 when it was only, I don't remember when was the first. 2018 was the first road course at Roval. So let's go back to 2017. Well, I'm okay. The Roval's not bad. I don't.
No, I'm okay with the Roval.
Yeah. I'm okay with the Roval. I think you go back to 2018 was only 3 road courses and just we're good with that. Give us a mile and a half back. Give us Kentucky. Give us some of these other tracks back because we know the mile and a halves are not the issue. They're exciting. You put all the clubs done, I guess. But put some of these back in our hands. Go back to the original short track. You just got the Richmond, you got Martinsville, you got Bristol. Bristol was not bad, obviously. This past time. Put those Dover's not bad. Some of those tracks. Leave it like that. Get back to this mile and a half where that's your bread and butter, like Kerfuffle always says. And go back to 3 road courses. I think NASCAR's smart enough, and you really hope. I really have some faith in these, and I think Dale Jr. just tweeted this too. Take out COTA, take out this and that, give us back some of the mile and a half, give us back some of the short tracks, make it where it used to be. And I think NASCAR fans from the past, you got present fans now, would not be disappointed. Go back to what we're known for.
What do you say, Joe?
I'd say that I was a little confused there for a minute when we were talking that the car's not made for it. I think the car is too well made for it, but I think you clarified that, Ryan. I agree with Travis in the fact that I think if you and I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but I think if you took a poll of the average everyday NASCAR fan, say, hey, man, you like NASCAR? Yeah, I like NASCAR. What's your least favorite races? I would think that the road courses are going to be at the top of that list for the majority of people. And that's my opinion. But I can't believe that. I mean, even us, we sit here. I don't really get excited about road courses. And really, I actually think that COTA has been the last 3 years or so has been the most exciting road course that we've had.
Till they figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's that, but I also think it's because you got to acquire the finishes. Each one's had a green, white checkered. We had Allmendinger, Allmendinger and Chastain and Bowman, that finish. That made it, I think, a good race. And then you had last year when you had a couple green, white checkers when there was just tight, hard-nosed racing at the end of the race. Reddick had to hit his marks to win against Busch. So, I think that's where, with no cautions today and field never getting bunched back up, it just kind of, you saw what you got.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the risk you take on any road course. But I think at the end of the day, I absolutely agree with you, Travis, that there's too many road courses, and I would 100% like to see NASCAR go back to the mile and a half. So I think there's already enough short tracks, to be honest with you. But I would like to cut out a road course, go back to a mile and a half. I'm on board with that.
The thing that stings for me, because I always think about this from a new fan perspective, like they just got in information from Netflix based upon polling that said 82% of the people that watched the NASCAR Full Speed series did not watch the championship race last year. That's great in terms of bringing in new people. And then we have, we've kind of had hills and valleys, and not every race is going to be a banger, but we're really starting to see where this car exceeds in terms of entertainment and where, we don't really need to, we can just cut the fat off the product that we already have. Road courses aren't there. Now, when it comes to the road courses, I used to talk to the guys that I coached with, and I was like, hey, man, NASCAR's really fun to get into. It's different. And I remember the very first race that I got to sit down with Sean Cook and watch was Sonoma. And it was freaking chaotic. I mean, it was absolutely nuts. And he's like, this is awesome. These guys don't know what the hell they're doing. And that's like, Yeah, that's actually why what made it really fun is these cars have no idea how to stop. These guys, try to turn and then go in the gravel and all kinds of stuff. And today, nobody drove off course. I don't think one single driver, at least from Fox's perspective, drove off course. We got to see Kobayashi wreck 3 times by back markers. We got to see Christopher Bell knock out 2 of the contenders, ruin their day. I think Kyle Busch could have had top 5. I think Kyle Larson easily could have had at worst a top 8, and he could not recover because of his spin. Outside of that, there was no storyline. There was no nothing. There's no competition. It literally, me and Joe watching, unfortunately at midnight, the F1 race had more excitement. Granted, it was for 5 minutes when Max Verstappen, I'm not sure, had a technical failure and his rear end caught on fire.
Breakup.
Yeah, that was more exciting for that 5 minutes. And you know what made it exciting? We knew somebody else besides Max Verstappen was going to win. And then there was no passing in that race too. It was a Formula One light race that we got today. And, you guys mentioned too, the thing that frustrates me, you got courses or race courses that we could go back to today, and I think fans would love. And maybe NASCAR will consider that, they just bought Bowman Gray Stadium. Have no idea what the hell they're going to do with that. That's a piece of news, but we don't know what they're going to do with it. Kentucky Speedway sits empty. Chicagoland sits empty. Rockingham has done a complete makeover. Those are all serious circuits that could take the place of not needing 2 Richmond races, because next week we're going to be here, after Easter going, oh, cool, another boring Richmond race. For whatever reason, this place has 2 of them. COTA is going to be that way. There's different things that we're now figuring it out. If we get the tire on the short tracks, we're literally running out of things to bitch about on this car because we're getting to a sweet spot. Unfortunately, there's just a few races now, and when you look at it, that are, you throw it away. I after today's race, when it comes to Sonoma, if a new fan goes, "Hey man, I heard they race at Sonoma this week," I'm like, don't watch that. You'll never turn it back out. You'll never turn it back on. Wait a week or two and watch, a really a compelling place. But we've also had to see places sacrifice, like an Auto Club. You're going to race at Auto Club in your league Thursday, and you can't wait. Why can you not wait, Travis?
It's got multiple lanes. You can run the wall. You can run the bottom. You can run the apron. There's just multiple ways. People are going to go 6-7 wide, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: do you think if NASCAR had decided to go with a more European approach when it comes to track limits, not just having 3 turns out of 19 or whatever the hell it was today, where they made them have to use track limits, do you think that would have a chance to make the product better? Or do you think that's just another way for NASCAR to go, well, we're trying to do something, but we're really not trying to do something?
Man, I don't know. If you watch all road courses, they all, think about Watkins Glen back in the day. 2004, right on whatever turn that is, the second one before they make a little left-hander, then they cut back in to make that last turn. That used to all be a big old sand pit. Well, then they repaved all that, and then now they all swing out way out there, and then cut back in. I don't know. It's like the S's. I guess you got to have that, but like track limits. Think about Indy back in 2021 when they had the track limits. With the Xfinity car, God, that tore up every Xfinity car in the world when they put all those little rumble strips there. You guys remember
the turtles?
That?
The turtles? They literally made them go airborne?
Yep, and they're like, all right, get them out. Not doing it.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. NASCAR goes back to that, and you're going to have everything destroyed. So, I don't know. I know.
It's probably putting makeup on a horse. I
think you just do that. I think you just let them, and it's just like I think about the S's. I get it, but I think Kyle Larson said it where he said, just put a big old turtle down there, take the track limit things off, put a couple turtles down there, because those people think about what it does on the Roval when they hit those turtles. It destroys the car.
Right.
Put a couple turtles down there. I promise you, they ain't gonna go down there.
When they go like this.
You don't have to worry about that stuff. And if people want to get aggressive and run over them, go for it. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of COTA. If we're just gonna be honest, I don't think you could put I don't know. You couldn't put anything on that course. You couldn't put 1,000 Pepsis on that place, and I don't think I'd still like the place. I think if he's sponsored by Pepsi, I still wouldn't like it.
I don't know. That's a bold statement. Joe, let me ask you something. Christopher Bell, obviously, if we had the shit list, he would probably be on the shit list today.
He almost made the wall.
He hurt a lot of people's feelings today on a Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch fan clubs. What was your overall thought process if he would have won that race after wrecking our two favorite drivers?
Well, I mean, I was going to be pissed off anyway, but I mean, at least at the end of the day, at least he gave something to be excited and pissed off about. I mean, if that doesn't happen, Kyle Busch gets a top 5, Kyle Larson gets a top 5. The result's probably still going to be the same. At least it gave a little bit of excitement in that race that didn't hardly have any.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to act pissed off, but to be honest with you, that was just racing it at COTA, I think, So.
Yeah. The thing that excited me as a Kyle Busch fan, I'm in my basement. It's so cold down here, but I got a shirt. Is seeing Kyle actually get upset because he's had this new. There's Chinese bugs. Them bugs from China come back to my screen. I totally just lost my thought process.
You're happy Kyle Busch is finally getting upset about something.
Yeah. Talking about how your jacket makes you look like you're in the mafia.
Do what?
And talking about how your green jacket makes you look like you're in the mafia.
That's the Don.
The Don.
Oh yeah,
Don Peters.
I'm way too short for the mafia. I think Italians have pretty good price. No, Kyle was known as KFB, which stood for Kyle F. and Busch, and I think we've seen a lot of KFC here lately. Is Kyle fucking cooked? I don't know. I've been wondering myself sometimes, and I've made a lot of statements that the Kyle that we knew got really pissed off and did not like things. And to me, to see him go up to Christopher Bell, out of all people, who he highly respects. I mean, he got Christopher Bell to race for him in trucks when they used to race against each other on dirt. Really, really, really likes the guy. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but he literally goes up to him and says, how many times have I wrecked you? And Chris Bell looked like he was being scolded by his dad. That's like the dad thing. He didn't say anything. And credit to Christopher Bell. I didn't expect him to do a whole lot, but he did. He let Kyle have his words, and he's like, well, it's fucking coming now. So to me, that's the Kyle Busch that I knew and loved, that got me excited, that wanted, the guy that sprints off after, and doesn't get to talk to the microphone. That's not the Kyle that I like. I want the Kyle that gets really, really upset. Now, what's funny, and tell me if you guys agree or disagree, is NASCAR fans. Kenny Wallace said this, that 30% of NASCAR fans just like to bitch. That they do nothing right. Now they watch the races. The 30% still watch the races, but they still say that NASCAR can do nothing right. So when Kyle got upset today, I got back onto social media, and for the first time in a long time, I got to see Crybaby Kyle. The diaper boy goes back, and it was like I was like deja vu. I'm like, oh my god, it's like we're back in the Toyota days. So I'm like, everything is starting to get right with the world. And then on the other hand, when William Byron wins, they go, oh, Mr. Boring won. So, which way do you want it? Do you want one guy showing emotion, getting pissed off, or do you want a 36 William Byrons?
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys think that just most of the things that you read on the internet from these NASCAR fans that say NASCAR can do nothing right, do you actually think they just want something to bitch about and they watch every race?
Absolutely. I mean, that's society in general, no matter what you're talking about.
That's a good point.
And I would contest. I mean, I think some people just like to bitch, but it's like if you're bitching, you care a little bit. So I mean, that means you're passionate about it. So I always, it's like coaching a kid.
Yeah.
I tell kids that all the time. When I'm being hard on them, Travis, you could probably attest to this, Ryan. You're being hard on them, they're getting upset, and you tell them, hey, accept coaching. You need to worry when I stop coaching you.
Yep.
That's when we have problems.
Right.
And that's kind of the same thing. I look at bitching about NASCAR or anything else. We have problems when people stop bitching.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Joe. Now, I will say that I've been jealous because you've made more shorts off of Kyle Larson's post-race comments than we have of Kyle Busch in the last 2 years, and that makes me very upset.
Right.
I think the best was Ryan Preece last year. He goes, I don't know what he's mad about. I thought we were fucking racing. And and I was like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that was after the Bristol Dirt race.
Yeah. And think about, also think about how contradicting NASCAR fans are. Like NASCAR fans are so contradicting. We never know what we want. We never know what we want. NASCAR fans, and I look at, after Christopher Bell, wrecked Larson today, and then I'm thinking back in my timeline, I'm like, well, Larson did take out Bell in 2021 at Watkins Glen.
Hey.
So it's like, how I'm pissed off there, but at the same time, I'm like, oh man, like that's just racing. Like that was Christopher Bell's fault. So, NASCAR fans are, contradicting in what they want.
And yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
So 10 years ago, we'd be sitting here doing this, watching another shitty race at a road course 10 years ago. I know we wouldn't have been at COTA, but we would been sitting here going, NASCAR's got to get their shit together and get a damn car that can race on these courses if they're going to race there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we'd be sitting here doing after 15 wrecks and, people spinning out and 35
if I was entertained. I just want to be entertained. That's all I want. And this is another rabbit hole, and this is what happens when we can't talk about the race. I watched something the other day that when Kenny Wallace again was referring to, because Kenny Wallace, he was talking about, and I like listening to other NASCAR drivers, especially that still stick in the sport and talk about it. He goes, why are these places filled up? And one of the comments, and I hate this comment, this is like one of the pet peeves I have, was, well, Formula One's shorter. I'm like, if it's boring, I don't care if it's for 30 minutes or 2 hours. I'm not going to watch it. Like when we went to Bristol last week, if that lasted for 6 hours, I would not have cared. I would have never said, they just got to wrap this shit up. I'm excited and everything, but I can't just be excited for this.
I did 1,000 laps.
Yeah.
And I would 1,000 laps of that.
I would contest. I wouldn't drive 5 hours to watch an hour and a half race, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Let alone spend $2,000. But, it's just to your point though, like we run cover for, these other tracks. Oh yeah. That's why they love Australia Grand Prix when it had 3 passes, and Joe and I cannot remember the last time we had a green flag pass for the lead. Honest to God, cannot remember the last time there was an actual pass for the lead in a Formula One race. And then, today we have some of this, but it's still probably better than any Formula One race. But we did have a comment from Anthony Karff, and Travis, you can maybe explain this. How does your rear housing come off the back of your vehicle and then roll across the grass?
It was
China. Someone is gonna probably be fired tomorrow.
I put some Loctite on that son bitch. I don't know. It just didn't stick.
They were either, if we're gonna be honest with you, I would not be shocked if some penalty doesn't come out for them trying to trick the rear end. Like give it rear steer. They were trying something and it just didn't work. And I would not be shocked if there's some kind of penalty that occurs on Tuesday from this. There's all kinds of things that connect, the rear end to the whatever. But I mean, you watch that thing fold underneath, like either the rear end was being tricked up or someone did not bolt something in correctly. Because like I said, when you go through that, you got your springs, your shot. I mean, like everything disconnected.
Yeah.
Like it was just like I watched that. I went,
Jamie Little was shocked. She was like, Yeah, we got a nice. What in the world?
Well, I was with my buddies up in Indy, and we're watching that race. They're wanting to watch. I watched the basketball, whatever. But I told them, it's like, I want one TV for the truck race that's coming on, and we'll watch that. And my one buddy Lob goes, "Did that rear end just come out?" And I went, "I don't even know what to say to that. Like that's crazy."
He's got a loose tire. No, he's got a loose axle.
I don't know. Like, and I'm thinking of, I was just like, whoa, like the gear was still in there. You could see the yoke of the yoke was snapped from the drive shaft. And I was like, whoa. Like I seriously think I would not be shocked if there's some kind of penalty that comes out because they were trying to trick up their end a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I have one last question, and then we'll call it a day because this has nothing to do with today's race, thank God. But if COTA, let's say it goes away, and NASCAR has to choose a track, it can still be used today, not be used today, may not even be operable, kerfluff, I don't know. Kerfuffle, there you go. I'll start with you, Joe. If NASCAR said today, we're going back to X track, what track would you want to see?
We'll go to Kentucky Speedway in April, baby. It don't matter. Into March, bring it on. It's cold in Atlanta. It's cold in Bristol. We could race over here at the end of March. Let's go.
Sell it for people that hate Kentucky.
You haven't seen it with the next-gen car. Mile and a halfs are great.
Okay.
And if you hate Kentucky, then fuck you.
Yeah. You hate Big Red.
Oh, man.
That's a good point. Kentucky facts. So, Travis. Travis, if you could choose a racetrack right now, what track would you be choosing? Chicagoland?
There's progressive banking, just a lot of, think of all some of the good races that were there at the end. I just, and I don't know, there's some kind of suing and there's something else going on there. So I don't even know if the track team going to be around anymore.
That's not the question. Oh, see, thanks a lot, Cody. That's what you did to Travis.
No, that race just made me tired.
Travis.
Yeah,
but I would probably say Chicagoland would be it. Kentucky would probably be that. Auto Club, but obviously it's tore up. So I don't know.
That would be mine.
I'm interested
if we could bring back Auto Club, knowing that now that's impossible because it's tore up. I would choose that for the exact same reason. It's a little bit more dramatic, and if we added horsepower, it'd be even better because you literally could go into turn one at like 205 miles an hour back in the day. I know that's real scary to people now.
217.
Yeah. But what we saw the last few races with the next gen car at Auto Club was tremendous. But my second would be Chicagoland. My third would be Kentucky, and it would be purely selfish reasons to have Kentucky. If it was, we're going to bring back one, and those, and you get to go to it, it would be Kentucky. I absolutely. It's literally.
I'm saying, let's do 250 laps at Lawrenceburg Speedway. See what happens.
250 laps.
Yeah.
Jesus. What would happen is we talk about things like, John had to call off work because he has a sinus infection. Jimmy got an upper respiratory infection, so he hasn't been to work since.
Bill's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Bill had COPD and his oxygen machine clogged up with dirt. Oh, man. Well, we have one more thing we need to settle some business before we jump off.
Yaley got him by 1,000th of a second. He's in front of William.
In the wall goes J.J. Yaley.
Oh, man.
He fell asleep on his couch today watching the race.
You're one of us now, JJ.
Yaley got him by 1,000th of a second. He's in front of William B.
Whoa, in the wall goes J.J. Yaley.
Oh, man.
That small snippet of J.J. Yaley at Watkins Glen was more entertaining than today's race, unfortunately, because that's what used to happen at road courses. And if you're new here, first of all, welcome. And second of all, if you don't like J.J. Yaley, that we have a whole entire segment for him, well, like Joe said, F you. It is what it is. We are who we are. Appreciate everybody that did join in, and more importantly, likes J.J. Yaley. If you want to check out where to find us, you can do it these different ways as the running ticker decides to just do its own thing. We're on Facebook, Patreon, and Rumble. We will also be on the artist formerly known as Twitter, which is now X. So we'll be there as well. We have some racing on Thursday. We have some normally trying to do a short conversation during the week. We'll have a midweek show, and we all get to try to get really excited about Richmond. So, yeah. NASCAR
I'm excited about Travis Butt at Auto Club Thursday night.
That might trump the most exciting racing we'll see 2 weeks running. So, JoJo and Travis, Joe the crew chief, Travis the driver, and me. Oh, he's racing like Dale Jr. He's going to have to steer the rack and pin with his hand. And so those are entertaining as well. And we are close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 855. Once we do that, we'll be getting some supers with your input that you can give to Mr. Joe and Travis, where Travis can drive with his fire suit. He can drive, a stage with his dog on his lap.
I can, I'll eat a whole pizza while I'm racing.
That sounds actually fun. I can be Kyle Busch's Jackman and call the race.
I will say,
don't snip this, Joe. Don't you dare snip this.
I'll do whatever.
Yeah, so we got all kinds of things to make it fun.
I will be doing, once we hit our 1,000 subscriber, I will be painting the name of our 1,000 subscriber on my chest and doing our weekly show.
That's very dedicated. So
go ahead and subscribe. I know everybody's ready for this.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll do all kinds of fun things. We were talking about this, and we had a lot of fun ideas and some ideas that were good and whatnot. And
more importantly, we have no pride.
Yeah.
No,
I'll do whatever.
Shameless.
Yeah.
I had pride.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yep. Well, that's it. Oh, we got one chat I want to get to. I don't want to ignore it. Ryan, you should come to the Berg with that on and pit for Travis. In a heartbeat. And whenever I ask for my wheelchair, I'm sure somebody will bring it very, very quickly as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good call too, Travis. Your first race at the Berg is in what, 2 weeks?
Couple weeks. We're getting there.
I will be in the stands doing shots.
That's okay.
Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. We'll see you here in a couple days. For Travis Butt, Joe Spillman, Mr. Kerfuffle, I'm Ryan Peters. Until next time.